Hi, everyone. My name is Elise Finney, and I'm here with Done with Divorce. And we wanted to touch base with one of our regular speakers, who is Nathan Olson. He's a family law attorney with Cooper Ginsburg Gray in Fairfax, Virginia. And really just wanted to ask him a couple of questions. He practices as an attorney and also mediation. And specifically, questions are going to be directed as Nathan is the mediator in this one. So wanted to ask you, Nathan, what is the biggest misconceptions around or about divorce mediation that we should know about?
Well, first, Elise, thank you for inviting me to answer these questions and to speak with you. I would say that in my experience, the biggest misconception is, well, my case isn't fit for mediation. You know, my spouse is so unreasonable, she will never agree to anything. Or my spouse will just dig his heels in. He won't agree to anything. He thinks he's right about everything, and it'll just never work. So some of those, cases where the clients think that it just will never work are actually really good cases for mediation. And you actually can work with your clients, and the other side will work with their clients and the mediator. And, we can figure out a way towards the middle. And I have a lot of, when I say clients, I have a lot of, mediation participants, that maybe is a better way to put it, who are surprised at the end of it that they are able to reach a resolution because they came into it with that feeling that their spouse would just never move towards the middle. And that's a pretty gratifying experience to help folks who think they're so entrenched in their positions where their spouses are that they won't move forward, to really help them and get them to have, resolve some of those really difficult issues. So that's what I think the most often misconception and most common misconception in mediation.
Absolutely. And I always say to people, it's not binding. What's the great thing about mediation? It's not binding. You can always, it's a great place to start and hopefully resolve everything there.
Right.
Other questions, when you were working with all your clients, when you walk away and you're like, wow, this is really that was a successful mediation. What does that look like for you as an attorney?
So do you mean as a mediator or as the attorney in a mediation?
As a either one. You could take it from both, if you will.
Well, as a mediator, obviously the biggest success we can have in mediation is to get a full agreement on all issues that's in writing and signed by both parties. That's the main goal of any mediation, is to get that done, because when you get that done, then no litigation is going to be in the future in the divorce case, because you resolved everything. Maybe a step down from that is a term sheet, which is a summary of agreed upon terms. So you might not have a full written out agreement that's signed by both parties, but you have a structure in place as to what people agree to. And you're going to flesh it out a little bit more when you have more time, or people are less tired. So that would probably be the second, the one step down. From there, an agreement on some issues, but not all issues. Sometimes people come in and they're overwhelmed by the number of issues that are out there. And sometimes getting some of those issues resolved, even if you don't get all of them, will provide the basis for further discussions down the line. And then I would say probably, just small takeaways, small successes are just breakthroughs on discussions on some things, some topics that the parties just cannot discuss themselves, either because it's too emotional or because they disagree or because they talk over each other. But some breakthroughs and some movement towards the middle on just some issues is, I would say, a success, and it's certainly a building block. And that's similar when I'm an attorney representing a client in a mediation, is to get that signed agreement. But if that's not possible, then again, movement towards the middle on some of the issues. And quite honestly, an understanding, I think, from both sides that maybe their case has some, I want to say, holes, but is not as strong as maybe you think, because you can have a mediator come in and say, well, look, I've heard this issue before, and I've heard courts go against the position you're advocating for. And sometimes your client hearing that will make them a little bit more likely to want to settle, because they want to avoid that uncertainty of going to court, which again is a success in and of itself, is avoiding the cost and the stress of litigation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're so glad that, I always say there's no shortage of professionals, quality divorce professionals in Northern Virginia, and we are glad that you have spoken many times for Done with Divorce and certainly has shared your thoughts today. So thank you.
You're more than welcome.